Hello, Govind. You've been waiting? I've had lessons all morning, so some mornings I start earlier, some mornings I start later. It depends on how late I teach. So this morning I just finished teaching about 15 minutes ago. So sometimes I have to make money. I haven't published my book yet. I'm still working on it, but some of my book is on my blog. What I'm going to try to do is to publish the chapters of my book as blog posts first. So if you want to read my book, you can get started by reading my blog. I would say there are about 10 chapters of my book on my blog. Okay, I'm working on a blog article right now, actually. So I'm here. If you have questions about English, you can ask me questions while I work, and I will try to answer when I see your questions, right? So I can't help you until you do something, right? This is the first thing you should do. If you are a student and you are learning, I don't care what you are learning. If you are a student, students have questions. If you don't have questions, there's something wrong. You're not really studying. If you don't have questions, then you're not looking for what's wrong. If you don't have questions, then you're not trying to improve. If you don't have questions, then you're not trying to think about what you can and can't do. So every good student has questions. And they can't be lazy questions. What's a lazy question? What's a lazy question? Do you know what a lazy question is? Can you guys give me an example of a lazy question? Anybody? Lazy question. Do you guys know what is a lazy question? A lazy question is a really big question, right? Like, how can I be good at English? That's not a good question. That's a lazy question. That's, you didn't want to think about English or what you can and can't do. So you just asked the biggest question you can so that you don't have to do any work. That's lazy. So if you're going to have a question, that's good. I want you to have questions. I insist that you have questions. Okay? But you have to think about what is wrong. Think about what you're studying. Think about what you need. Okay? Simple questions are lazy questions. Well, kind of. No, not always. Simple questions can be good questions, right? Like, what's the difference between this and this is a simple question, right? Those are simple questions, but that's okay. That's a good question. It's specific. So, if your question is too big, it's too grand, it's too undefined, then it's not a good question. Okay? Does fluency depend on smart work or hard work? That is what we call a loaded question, Govind. You gave me two choices, but the answer is neither of those two choices. So, fluency doesn't depend on smart work or hard work. Fluency depends on smart work and hard work. You need both to be good. Fluency means you're very comfortable. You're so comfortable doing something that you can play with it. You don't stress about it. You can play with it. You reach the play stage of that activity. Anything that you learn, eventually you'll know it well enough that you feel comfortable. When you feel comfortable, you can relax and play, right? Just like when you learn a game. If you learn a new game, the first time you play, you're not comfortable because you don't know it well. But once you know it well, you can play it and enjoy it and have fun, right? So, fluency is about reaching a point where you feel comfortable using it in a playful way that's not stressful. Okay? Can I help you with the pronunciation of warm, or, and worm, So this is a confusing one. Kat, the problem you're having is the word warm, W-A-R-M. It really does kind of sound more like it should be spelled W-O-R-M, because the word or, right? Warm, right? So it sounds like it should be W-O-R-M, but it's not. It's spelled W-A-R-M. But the other one, W-O-R-M, actually sounds more like W-E-R-M. Okay, so the proper pronunciation of W-O-R-M, worm, is worm. Okay, so it's not or, it's . Okay? Whenever you say warm, it sounds like worm. Okay, so here's what you need to do, Kat. When you say the or, I want you to look at my mouth. So the front of my mouth has a round position and it's small, right? But the inside of my mouth is a big open cavity. Or. So I'm like, I feel like when you make that sound, it's the whole mouth and even your chest. There's this, you're using the resonance of your upper body, your chamber here, to make the sound. Okay? So what you need to do is open your mouth more. Open your mouth more inside. But then the front of the mouth needs to be that small mouth O, right? Or, warm. Today is very warm. Or. It also sounds like the word war, right? War is bad. W-A-R, war. So warm sounds like war. Okay, let me see. Hello to everyone. Hello, Leonardo. Should we know the stem and root of the words for fluency? Should you? No, you don't need to. It's not necessary, but it certainly helps. So there are millions of people who don't know about really, they don't really know about roots or stems or prefixes or suffixes or affixes or etymology or any of that. But they still speak pretty well. Okay, so it's possible to do it without it. Certainly many people do. But I think that learning the roots of the words and where they come from and how they're related to each other is very useful. Okay? I think it's very useful. How do you pronounce live when it's a noun and a verb? So it's live and live. Okay? So where do you live? I live. That's the verb. Okay? It is a live thing. That's an adjective, right? Let me see something here. Hold on. Yeah, so it's an adjective or a verb. There is no noun form of this particular spelling. Okay? Life would be the noun form. L-I-F-E. Okay? Okay, if you have questions, then ask me your questions. I am a question answering machine. Robert says, I can't always tell the pronunciation difference between cling and clean. So, Robert, I can help you with this. The ing in English is similar to the ing in Chinese. Ing, ing, ing. Right? There are many ing sounds in Chinese. Okay? Like ing, ung, right? So, cl, ing. Now, the difference is the word clean. E. Robert, what word do we say if I'm taking a picture? What word do you say in English or Chinese? What word do you say when I'm taking a picture? 1, 2, 3. What do we say? Not shoot. Cheese. That's right. Why do we say cheese? Why don't we say potatoes? Why don't we say apples? Why cheese? Does anyone know? In English, when we take a picture, we say cheese. In Chinese, when you take a picture, you say 茄子. Because cheese. Because when you take a picture, you're supposed to smile. So if they say the word cheese, it's like they're smiling. It's a trick to get you to put your mouth in the position of smiling. Yeah. So that's why you need to remember that the E sound, the long E in English, E, smile, clean. It should almost hurt your face. If your face almost hurts when you make the long E, then it's correct. Because it should be that big. E. Okay? Clean. Clean. N. Cling. Ing. Okay? So clean. cling, g, g, right? So inga, g, g, and in, clean, na, na, na. Cling, C-L-I-N-G, ends with a cling, g, g, g. There's a g. It's a very small one, right? When we're young, they teach you to over-pronounce, to exaggerate the end sound, right? So, for example, when you say, let me think, walk, and then they'll teach us the past tense, walked, and they'll tell us to really overpronounce the ending to make sure it's clear and clean, right? So walked, right? So when we say some words, you want to try to overpronounce that ending, cling or clean. Now, are you going to say it that way forever? No. But this is just to teach your mouth the right way. Eventually, you'll take that and you'll cut it. So it won't be clean, it'll be clean. You'll just cut off the n. But putting the n on the end forces you to make the pronunciation properly. Okay? Putting the cling, g, g, the G on the end of the word cling makes you pronounce it properly. Okay? Understand? All right. Next question. Can you come up on stage and ask a question? You can. Let me answer a few more questions in the chat. I wasn't really planning on having many people on stage today because I don't have much time, but it would be better if you could write your question in the chat, if you can, because I only have an hour today. On my birthday, 2 days ago was my birthday, and I did 8 hours of live streaming on my birthday, and I almost lost my voice. I took a day off yesterday, but my voice is still not perfect yet, so I'm only going to do 1 hour today. How do you respond to what's up? You can say not much. Not much. Nothing, not much. Cat, what's up just means what's happening. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you up to? What are you planning? Right? So what's up, most of the time, is kind of like, how are you? I'm fine. We don't really want a full answer. We just want an answer. So, what's up? Nothing. What are you up to? What's up with you? Okay? We'll say nothing. We'll say not much. Sometimes we even use the Spanish word. We'll say nada. Nada. N-A-D-A. In Spanish, it means nothing. So we'll say nothing. Nada. What are you doing? Nada. Okay? All right. Yeah, my voice, like I said, I have to be careful. Imagine you're a student, you want to leave the class for some water or for the bathroom. How do you ask the teacher to let you leave? May I use the restroom? May I use the bathroom, the restroom, whichever word you taught them, whichever one, it doesn't matter, bathroom, restroom, okay? May I? May I use the restroom? May I get some water? Okay, may I please would be better, okay? May I is polite. May I please is more polite. Okay, so may I please go to the bathroom? May I please get some water? Okay. All right, let's see. You think you're A2 level, you want to achieve fluency in B1 before December 31st. Okay. I think that will be a little hard. I think that'll be a little hard, Govind. I think you should maybe plan for a little bit longer than that. I think you should plan for 6 months, not 3 months, okay? Because why? Because the way these words work, the levels of language. I want you to think about it like neighborhoods, right? Some neighborhoods are really big and some neighborhoods are really small. A really small neighborhood, you can get to know that neighborhood quickly because it's small, right? But a really big neighborhood takes a lot more time to get to know that neighborhood, right? A1 and A2, they're not too big, the neighborhood. They're not too big. B1 and B2, those are big neighborhoods. There are a lot of words and a lot of rules and a lot of language that lives in that neighborhood. Okay? So B1 is a pretty big, that's a lot. So it's not that it's hard, it's just that it's a lot. Okay? So that's what I would say is plan for 6 months, not 3 months. Okay? That's a more realistic goal. Hello, Doris. Nature calls. I would definitely not say that in a classroom. Nature calls is what you can say if you're with your friends, right? So if I'm hanging out with my friends and I need to go to the bathroom, I'll say, hey, excuse me, everyone, nature calls. Okay? But you don't say that in a classroom to your teacher. No. Okay? Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. Hello, Carlos. Okay, once again, if you are learning English, then you should have questions. They should be good questions, small questions, specific questions, not big questions. Okay? Ask small questions. Small questions means you thought. Big questions means you did not think. Okay? What would be my 6-month plan? Gofind, I'm sorry. That's a lot to. I can't really give you a 6-month plan in an answer. Have you read my articles? Have you watched my videos? I'm not saying that. Look, everything that I have is free right now. Okay? You don't have to pay for anything right now. I have to charge, at some point in time, I will charge money because I have to, because I'm poor. But right now, if you want to, everything all my YouTube videos, they're free. And every answer that I have about learning English is on my videos. But, here is the one thing. My videos are like this one, where I answer questions for everyone for 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, sometimes for 4 hours. It's not very organized. It's not like some YouTube channels, everything is so nice and organized for you. Like, oh, I want the answer to this question. Oh, well, here's the video. I want the answer to this question. Well, here's the video. Well, guess what? I could do that, but do you know what? I'm not going to. I'm not going to cut my videos up for you. I'll tell you why. Because in order to learn, you should earn it. If you want to learn it, you should earn it. Wisdom that's given too easily is wisdom that's not appreciated. Let me say that again. Wisdom given too easily is wisdom unappreciated. If someone just gives you the answer and just says, here, you didn't have to do any work. Here is the answer. Everything you need. No problem. You learned nothing. No. If you want to learn something, you have to be willing to earn it. So all the answers are on the video. All you have to do is watch it, listen, pay attention, and make some notes. And have patience enough and dedication enough to watch. That's it. Okay? But if you want to make a 6-month plan for yourself, if you watch 5 of my videos completely, probably you'll get enough. If you watch 10 of my videos completely, you will definitely have all the information you need to make your own plan. Okay? I promise you. All right, now let me go back and get some more questions. Okay. Hello, Lynn. How are you? Hello, Inessa. Is C2 an unrealistic goal? No, it's not an unrealistic goal. C2 is, you can do it if you want to, but remember how I was talking about neighborhoods? You know, like A1 and A2 are not huge neighborhoods, but they're decent sized neighborhoods, right? B1, B2, those are pretty big neighborhoods. Okay, C1 is also a pretty big neighborhood. But C2 is actually not a very big neighborhood. Okay? So what I mean is the words that are in the C2 vocabulary are very difficult words, but they are also very limited words. They're not useful everywhere. That's why it's a small neighborhood. Okay? But the language that's in B1, B2 level, that language is ubiquitous, means everywhere. It's universal. That's a lot. That's a big neighborhood. Okay? How do you serve in an a la carte restaurant? What do you mean? How do you serve? Well, a la carte is French for means by the cart, which was where they would push a cart and you'd have dishes on the cart and you would choose which one you want. So a la carte is French and it means you pay for everything separately. Each dish is its own price, right? There is no group together, right? Everything is a la carte. So some restaurants, you order the fish. And the fish, it comes with vegetables and rice. Great. That's not a la carte. A la carte would be you order the fish. Great. That's all you get is fish. If you want rice, that's extra. And vegetables, that's extra. But you can order them a la carte, which means basically everything is separately added. Okay? Okay. Hello, Badr Korchi. Hello. You're suffering from overthinking a lot. Parveen. I don't know if I can really help you with that. I overthink every single minute of my life. I overthink. What I can tell you is sometimes we try to fix or avoid our disabilities or our difficulties, right? So if you think too much, sometimes we try to avoid it, or sometimes we try to fix it. But in my experience, sometimes the best option is the third option, which is not to ignore it and not to try to change it or fix it, but instead to try to hack it. Okay, and hack it. What does hack it mean? It means to do something to adjust the way you use it to make it useful for you. So right now, your overthinking is not benefiting you. It's hurting you. So you have to creatively think of a way to, how can I change this so that my overthinking is not hurting me, but it's helping me? Now, I can't necessarily answer that for you, all right? You'll have to be creative and think of a way that works for you. But, for example, I overthink all the time, and I also am very distracted. I'm very distractible. So I try to, instead of stopping those behaviors, it's like I try to ride them and guide them where I want them to go so that they're benefiting me instead of hurting me. It doesn't always work, but it does sometimes. Okay, let's see. Does translating everything? Yes, no. Nina, if you are learning a language, then you should learn how to think in that language. If you are translating everything, then you are not really using that language. And I wish someone had told me that many years ago. But when you learn a language, you have to learn how to write and read and listen and speak. Everyone knows that. But you also must know how to think in that language. You must know how to think in that language. So you have to start learning how to think in English. Hello, Mona. Wisdom given too easily is wisdom unappreciated. Unappreciated. It means you can't see the value. You don't see the value. It was too easy. You didn't have to earn it. You didn't sweat. It wasn't hard. So if it's too easy, you don't think it's valuable. When it's hard, you think it's valuable. So wisdom that's given too easily is wisdom unappreciated. Okay? How long is my video every time? Just sometimes it's 1 hour, sometimes it's 3 hours. Okay? It depends. What's the difference between beneath and under? Nothing. 这是一样的意思，差不多的意思，都可以说。Okay? 一些人他们说 beneath， 一些人说 under. Okay? 有时候我说 beneath， 有时候我说 under. Okay? 都可以。You can't find my articles. Fang, if you live in China, then you may not be able to see them unless you use a VPN. Okay? All right, please be patient. There are many questions. Please be patient. Why do people take others' perspectives about themselves and criticize? I don't understand your question, Taylor. I'm sorry. Can you try to answer? Can you try to ask me again in a different way? I don't really understand what you're trying to ask. You created a story in English about a horse and a cowboy. The word bridle is, or the word rein, which one is more important? Bridle, Carlos, the bridle, if I remember right, I'm pretty sure the bridle is part of the part that goes into the horse's mouth, right? If I remember right, the part that's in the horse's mouth is called the bit, but then the rest of it is called the bridle. Let me double check that. I'm not a horse expert. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so the thing that goes over the horse's head that is connected to the reins, the reins are the things you hold. That's the reins. Those are connected to the bridle, which is the thing that goes over the horse's head. The thing that goes in the horse's mouth is called the bit. Okay? So there's the bit, the bridle, and the reins. All right. Wow, that was a fun question to answer. Thank you, Tiger. Bader Korchi, you have just one question. What's the best way to improve your English level? That's not a good question, Bader. That's too big. Do you know why that's not a good question? One, because it's too big. It's not specific at all. And two, because I don't know you. If I don't know you, then I can't advise you. I can't give you any advice that would be valuable to you because I don't know you. That's why you have to ask a smaller question about you, about your problems with English. Don't just say, how can I learn English? That is not a good question. It's a lazy question. No. Think about it. Think about it. If it means something to you, if you really want to learn English, then think about it and think about what questions you need to ask. Good questions, small questions, specific questions, not big questions. All right? My teacher told me, Mark, if someone wrote a book about that, then that is not a good question. Because I need to give you a book to answer it. Okay? So think about something that is not a book. All right? Hello, Valerie. Oh, my voice is starting to go again. Which one is correct? Describe what you can see in the picture, or describe what can you see? Describe what you can see in the picture is correct. Have I seen The Lord of the Rings? Yes, I have. What do I think about Smaug, the dragon's English? I think it's very polite. It sounds really good. Yeah, Jandis, Smaug's English is very... It's a dramatic style of English. I would almost say... What's that accent? Oh, there's an accent I'm trying to remember. There's an accent that actors used to use a lot in the late... I guess I'll call it in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. There were a lot of people who had this very elevated, kind of dramatic, artistic way of speaking. And it was an actor's way of speaking. And yes, Smaug has this very eloquent and very erudite. Erudite is a word that means educated. Dragons are thousands of years old, so they're very smart. So they know many languages, and they are very wise, generally. They're usually considered wise. That's why he speaks well. Yeah, interesting question. Thank you, Dennis. What's my favorite quote? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. My two favorite quotes are do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and this above all, to thine own self be true. Be true to yourself. Those are my two, that's how I try to live my life. Those two quotes. What are some synonyms for angry, upset, livid, hold on. This is a question that you can very easily find online, though. Annoyed, bitter, enraged, these are all angry, okay? Furious, irate, irritable, irritated, mad, offended, outraged. Those are all words that mean angry, okay? Go to thesaurus.com. Thesaurus.com. Type in whatever word you know and it will tell you words you don't know that mean the same. Okay? Okay, let's see. If 20 people give you compliments about your tasks, and then someone else's criticizes, you refuse to take those 20 people and take one. Taylor, I think you think too much about what other people think. Why do you worry so much about what other people think? That tells me that you are not confident in yourself. That tells me that you are paranoid about other people around you. Forget about them, man. Worry about you. You're wasting all your energy on worrying about other people and what other people think. You could use that energy to worry about yourself. Okay? Thank you, Akaw. Thank you very much. Let's see. What if you want to improve your writing skills in English, Sarah? Then the easiest way to improve your writing today is ChatGPT, ChatGPT, ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT, I would like to improve my writing skills in English. And it will. It will help you. It will teach you. It will design a plan for you. You can ask it to make homework. You can say, please make some exercises for me about grammar, about past tense, about present tense. Please make some vocabulary lists for me. It will. It will do all of that. It is a teacher waiting for you. Why aren't you using it? Okay? It would get in the way of learning more than one language at a time. Nina, you can learn more than one language at the same time. Is it going to be harder? Of course. Of course it is. Okay? But you can. Some people do. Many people have. Okay? Do I know David Goggins? Yeah, I know him. He's a pretty bright guy. Yeah, if I remember right. Let me double check if I'm thinking of the right guy. I think I know who you're talking about. Sometimes I'm bad with names, but I'm pretty sure I remember this one. Oh, right. Right, he's the motivational guy, right. So what do I think of him? I don't know that much. I don't know too much. So I shouldn't comment very, very much. The only thing that I will say is that in this day and age, I truly think that there are many, 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 many people who seem to be very, very worried about what they look like and how healthy they are or how strong they are, how much they work out, but they don't seem to be very worried about, well, let's put it this way. I see a lot of people who are talking all about your body and how you should be healthy and work out and exercise and all this. I don't see a lot of people talking about how you should work out your mind. And I think that's a big problem. I think that there are too many people who go to the gym every day and not enough people who think about, well, if I'm working out my body, how am I working out my mind? So what I would say about David Goggins is that I wish he would balance things a little bit more by talking less about just working out and more about gaining knowledge and wisdom and skills, right? Like that's one reason why I really admired Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee was a ridiculously good fighter. He was an excellent fighter, but he was also a reader. He had a his personal home library was famous because he read so many books. He understood that you cannot just work out your body, that you have to work out your mind. Because a strong body with a weak mind is a weak person. Okay? A strong body with a weak mind is a weak person. All right? And yes, erudite. Erudite means really smart. Well learned. Learned. Okay? Diapers. Are you talking about my quotes? Yeah, that's another one of my favorite quotes. Mark Twain's quotes about diapers and politicians. It's another one of my favorites. Valerie, let's see. I've heard this expression, there are no stupid questions, there are stupid answers. What do I say about this? Well, sure. But no. There are stupid questions. Stupid being a relative term, Valerie. The questions you ask reflect your real interest. That's what I think. So if you ask big questions like, how can I be good? That tells me you're not really interested. That you say you want to learn it, but you don't want to do any work. Okay? Anyone can say they want to do something, right? But if you ask these big questions like, how can I be good? That tells me that you just want the result, but you don't want to do any of the work. If you ask questions like, I have problems with this, how can I fix it? I don't understand this, can you explain it? I need help with this, can you help me with this specific thing? That tells me that you have thought about your problems. You have thought, I know what the problem is, I just don't know how to fix it. That tells me you considered the problem. If you ask a big question like, how can I be good? That tells me you have not considered the problems at all. You haven't thought about your English at all. Okay? So, what I think is, if your question comes from a true place of curiosity, then I will answer. But, as a teacher, one of the things that I do is I teach you how to ask good questions. Knowing how to ask the right questions is important to get the right answers. If you don't ask the right questions, you won't get the right answers. Right? So, part of what I do is teach you how to use your mind better. Right? To use your mind in a better way. And that means taking some time to think about a question that has real value to you. Okay? All right, let me double check something over here. Oh, thank you. Hello, Zoshna Jabbar, hello, and Flavia, hello. I have almost 50,000 views on YouTube. Wow, I didn't know that. Thank you for letting me know, Flavia. I never pay attention to my statistics. I should, but I don't. Okay, next question. Please be patient. Sir, you have said that speaking level might improve by learning writing, listening, and thinking. These are all possible to improve by self-practice, or should you have to... let me try to understand here. Anything can be learned by yourself. Anything can be learned with a teacher. It's just easier with a teacher. Okay? So you can learn by yourself. When you learn by yourself, you do have a teacher. You are the teacher. When you learn by yourself, You are the teacher and the student. Okay? Okay, next question. Will AI replace teachers? Some of them, yes. If you are a teacher in the most basic sense of the word, that you show up and you give information and you give tests, if you don't have passion, if you can't motivate, if you aren't good at inspiring people, then you will lose your job. And I think you should, because teaching is a job that should only be done by people who can inspire and encourage and who have passion. If you don't have passion, you should not be a teacher. Okay? Now, I don't worry about AI replacing me as a teacher, because I'm pretty sure that if someone had a choice between taking lessons from AI or taking lessons with me, I think most of them would choose me if it were the same price and everything were the same, then I think most people would choose to actually study with me. Why? Because learning is a human activity that requires connection. We're passing knowledge. It's the transfer of knowledge and wisdom and information. So, AI can pass the information, but it can't really inspire you. And a lot of the answers it will give will be hollow. Like, if AI tells you, I believe in you, you can do it, how will you feel? If AI tells you, you're doing great, it's nice. I mean, it's nice, but it doesn't feel as good as when your friend says it, or when your father, or when your teacher says it, because that's a real human connection. All right? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to go as fast as I can. Please be patient. So many deep questions today. Okay, let's see. Working out the kinks. A friend said that once, and it means like fixing some problems. I wonder why the word kinks, where does it come from? Carlos, a kink has a few different meanings, but the one that you're looking for is from the Dutch word kink, which means a rope, ropes that got twisted. Like, that was a kink in the rope, right? So this word comes from boats, mostly, right? When they had a lot of ropes for the boats, to hold the boats and for the sails and all these ropes, right? A long time ago, every boat had 1,000,000 ropes on it. It was ropes, lots of ropes for everything, okay? So when a rope would get twisted and have like a, when a rope twists and then all of a sudden it kind of goes like this, like a hose, like a garden hose will do that. That's called a kink. There's a kink in the hose. Okay, so you have to untwist it so that it can flow again, right? So working out the kinks is a problem. A kink is a problem. It's something that's stopping the flow. So working out the kinks means making it right, like making the rope straight or making the hose work properly. Okay? Oh.如果你知道我会说中文，我会说，可是我觉得这是非常不好的中文。我的中文就是好臭的。Okay, what do I think about literal translation? I still see some people use it to teach their students. What's my opinion? I think it depends on the situation, but I think it's not usually right. Literal translations are always a bit off because language is not always literal. Language is not always literal, so if you literally translate everything, then sometimes that's why Chinese, for example, when Google tries to translate Chinese, it is often very, very wrong because sometimes the Chinese words are not literal, and so it's translating literal things and it looks weird. It doesn't understand the meaning behind the words. Okay? How do we work on our mind? Reading, learning, studying, thinking, writing. Have you ever written? Why don't you write something? Do you believe in anything? Do you believe in anything? Do you have any ideas? Do you have any thoughts at all? Now, I'm not saying you have to publish them. I'm not saying you have to tell anybody about them, right? But when I was 19 years old, I started writing down thoughts that I had, ideas about teaching, right? I would write down an article about, I think that learning is like this. And I'd write down my ideas. That's part of developing your mind too. Contemplation of thought. What do you believe in? If someone asked you, could you tell them? When you write it down, it gets much easier. Okay? There are many ways to work out your mind. Okay? Reading, studying, learning, growing. Yeah. Okay? Oh man, you guys are making me tired. And it's already almost an hour. All right, my voice. When you read some words and sentences after that, you forget. That's your big problem. So you forget because you only read them and then you never think about them again. So some of you, please pay attention. This is important for all of you, this tip. Some of you are studying English for maybe 30 minutes or an hour every day. And then when you're finished with your study, you take your English and you put it in a box. Okay? And now you take that box and you walk over to the closet and you open the closet and you put your English in the closet and you close the door. And then you don't see your English again until the next time you practice. That will never work. You can't put your English in the closet. So what do I mean by that? I mean that after you study, then you must use. How can you use it, you say? How can you use it, Teacher Mark? I can't speak with anyone. There are no people here to speak with. So what? I didn't say you need to speak. Why do you need to speak? I want you to see something. Watch me right now. At this moment, I am going to think words. Words are going through my head right now. Ready? Here we go. Watch me. I just introduced myself in Chinese. In my head. I never put my Chinese in the closet. I keep my Chinese going by keeping it in my mind, by using it every day. This is not my phone. No, this is not my phone. 这是我的手机. Okay? Okay. Follow me. There's an article on my blog about learning vocabulary and how you can remember them much, much more easily if you learn better techniques. Okay, go to my blog. There's an article. Okay, will AI be a good assistant for teacher? teachers. Yes, fantastic system. I use AI all the time. It is a brilliant, brilliant tool for anybody who likes to learn or teach. It's an amazing tool for anyone who likes to learn. Yeah. I don't care about its limits. I care about what it can do, not what it can't do. Everybody's talking about what it can't do. Who cares about what it can't do? Why aren't you talking about what it can do, which is a lot? Okay, how can I retain what I study? The problem is I want to expand my vocabulary, but I forget the words. Okay, let me give you my article. Wait a minute. Let me find my article. I'm going to post it here for you guys, my vocabulary article. Let's see. This is my blog. On my blog, there are many articles you can read about many things, mostly about English. Some are not about English, they're just about life, concepts about life, about things, that I feel. Remember, I said I write the things I believe. Okay? You don't have to read them if you don't want to, but you can if you want to. All right? So, for example, here is the article I have about vocabulary. Copy that, paste it into your browser, and you can read my article about how to learn vocabulary. Okay? It's a little hard, but you can do it. All right, geez, my voice is getting a little, I'm losing my voice a little bit, guys, so I'm going to have to go soon. But let's see here. I'm going to try to finish these few questions. What's good about me is that I'm able to and willing to discuss various issues, and I'm not afraid of being misunderstood. I am afraid of being misunderstood. I think these days everybody's afraid of being misunderstood because people are misunderstanding each other all the time. The difference is that I put a very high value on language, so that means that I have a high ability to express myself. So it means that I'm probably misunderstood less often, because if you don't understand me this way, then I'll try to explain it another way. That is the art of teaching. Which city has the highest crime rate in the United States? I don't know. Google it. Google it. It's, I don't know. But everything you've heard is not what you think. Okay? Every day of my life here, pretty much, I don't ever think about crime. Where I live, I never ever think about crime. I don't live in Mar-a-Lago, okay? I don't live in the worst neighborhood, but I don't live in the best neighborhood, okay? But where I live, and where most people live, we don't worry, okay? What you have heard if I tell you 100 stories about crime, you will think there is a lot. But when you look at it statistically, it's not a lot. Okay? What do I think about existentialism? I like it. I studied existentialism a bit when I was younger. Rene Descartes, right? Cartesian philosophy. It reached a point of acidity. It reached a point where existentialism eventually is kind of like, man, this is a bit circular. Means like, are we here or are we not here? Are we real or are we not real? How do you really know? At some point, it just becomes like, well, Mona, it reminds me of, there's a saying we have about jazz music. Some people like to talk about jazz music and explain it, right? Like, this is what he's doing, and this is why he's doing it, and this is why, and what, and blah, 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 blah. But we have a saying. We say talking about jazz is like dancing about architecture. It doesn't make sense. Why would you dance about architecture? Why would you talk about jazz? Jazz is not supposed to be talked about, it's supposed to be experienced. So, in the same way, existentialism kind of makes me go like, at some point in time, it's good to study and it's good to understand the concepts of existentialism, but at some point you do have to kind of smack yourself in the face and say like, dude, like, you could argue about whether we're alive or not all day, every day, for the rest of your life, and you'll never get an answer. So it kind of becomes like, all right, move on. Like, it's better to move on and think about things that you can solve. Okay? Currently, existentialism is in the hands of astrophysicists. Hopefully they'll solve it for us. My Chinese is it's okay. My Chinese is, I speak really bad Chinese really well. Okay? What's the difference between being aloof and being standoffish? Not much. I think standoffish might be a little bit more strong, right? Aloof could be by accident. Maybe you're accidentally aloof. I think that's possible. Standoffish is not accidental. It's deliberate. Okay? A standoff means you're ready to fight. So you're ready like this. So to be standoffish means you're looking for a fight. To be aloof just means you're kind of obliviously stupid. Like you're not paying attention to what someone needs or wants. You're aloof. Okay? Do you have lessons you can study from me? You can take private lessons with me. So let me finish up here. Here is my link tree. If you go to my link tree, you can follow me, my website, my blog, my YouTube, and my podcasts. My blog, my website, my YouTube, my podcasts. My blog, my website, my YouTube, and my podcast are there on that link. Okay? So, you can buy lessons from me there, and there are many resources for studying there. Okay? What is your best celebration for a year? What do you mean, Masa? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. Yes, Carlos, kink does have other meanings. There, and there. Is there a difference in pronunciation? No, there is not, Zoe. They are the same. There, and there. There. It's like ta, ta, ta in Chinese. Right? It's the same. He, she, it in Chinese is ta, ta, ta. There in English is, yeah. Okay? Oh, man. Ignoble, you're in Russia. Many things in Russia are blocked right now. Unfortunately. So, that's probably why. Okay? Thank you, Cassie. Do you mean what's my favorite holiday, Masa? My favorite holiday is probably Thanksgiving or Christmas because of the food and family. Let's see. A lawyer can only see the criminal world. A doctor can only see the sick. Well, that's why you should never define yourself by your job. You should define yourself as a human with talents and skills that can benefit yourself and other humans. When you see yourself as your job, then yes, you see yourself as everything is a way to earn money. But when you see yourself as a human with skills and talents that can benefit you and others, then you see where you can benefit yourself and others. Now, there are also some who will see how they can take advantage of others. But you can't worry about the people who are bad. You can only worry about yourself being good. Okay? What do I mean by aloof is more accidental? I mean that there are some people who don't really pay attention too much to, like, okay, maybe you want to meet a famous author who wrote your favorite book, and you go to his book signing, and you wait in line, and you're ready to meet him, and everybody's talking to him at once, and you really want your book to be signed. You're standing there, you've been waiting, and he doesn't seem to notice you. He's talking to all the reporters, and he's talking to all the people there, and he doesn't seem to notice you. He's a bit aloof. It means maybe he's not doing it on purpose. He's busy, he's distracted, whatever, all the lights and the attention, it distracted him and he didn't notice you. That could be to be aloof, all right? So aloofness is usually intentional, I think, but I think it could be unintentional, okay? All right, why the word calls when we talk about recipe? This job calls for patience. This recipe calls for 2 cups of flour. Because the word calls for is a phrasal verb. It's not just the word calls, it's calls for. And to call for something means, what does this need? What do you need for this? Okay? This situation calls for calmness. This situation calls for aggression or ambition, right? Or you could say this job calls for someone with attention to detail. This job calls for someone with patience. It means it requires that. The requirements. We call out that we are requiring this. It calls for this. Okay? Festival, right. So my favorite holiday would probably be Thanksgiving and Christmas because we have great, wonderful food and family. Okay? All right, let's see. Ignoble, send me a private message and maybe I can find a way to send you my articles another way. Maybe. All right? Send me a private message. Can I live without coffee? Probably not. Okay. Do I use AI to create my content in social media? Yes and no. So my blog articles, I use ChatGPT to help me write them, but I don't let it write for me. No. It takes me a while to write an article because I go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and I change it and edit it and fix it, and I don't just press enter and say, write an article for me. No, I never do that. I do that for some things, like maybe when I make a post on Hello Talk about my live stream. I'll tell ChatGPT, hey, please make a post for me about my stream, right? So for things like that, yeah, I let it help me do all that work. But when it's my content, that means if it's content about something that's mine, my ideas, my concepts, my teaching methods, no, I write that. Those are mine, okay? Okay, guys, I really do need to go. I've been here for an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm losing my voice a little bit because I did 8 hours of streams 2 days ago. So my voice is a bit weak today, all right? Hello, ZZ. If you want to speak English fluently, should you know idioms? It would be nice, yeah. We do use them, I think, quite a bit. Yeah. To create is probably short for in order to. Sometimes, yes. Mava, sometimes that would be right. Yes. Okay. Guys, yeah, again, I need to take a break. But if you want to follow me, go to my YouTube. Here's my YouTube channel. There's my YouTube channel. I have hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel. Hundreds of them. Some of them are really good. Some of them are so-so. Okay? But go check it out on my YouTube channel. You can also go to my website. There's my website. On my website, let me show you that before I go. On my website, let's see. Let me go to my website. Here is my website. This is my website here, okay? If you want to buy lessons with me, you can buy lessons here, book online. If you want to read my blog, you can go here and find my blog. If you want to study English for free, there are many resources here. Click resources. Teacher Mark's top English resources. Reading, writing, listening, speaking, IELTS and TOEFL, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. All of it is right here where you can just go and click and study. All right? So that's my website. Go check it out. All right? And finally, my blog is here. Okay? And my blog, my best answers are on my blog. Right? So people ask me questions here all the time, and I answer the best that I can quickly. But sometimes my answers are not complete because I don't have the time to make them complete. But my blog gives me the time to make complete answers. So, those are some of my best answers on my blog. I will say, though, when I write my articles for my blog, I don't write them very simply. I want them to be a little bit difficult for you. Okay? I want you to try. When I teach here, I use the simplest language I can so everyone can understand me. But sometimes when I write my articles, I use a slightly higher level of language. I think B2, C1 at least. Maybe C2 occasionally. Okay? So some of it might be a little bit difficult. You can copy the article and try to paste it into DeepSeek or ChatGPT and ask it to help you to understand if you don't understand. Okay? Don't just say, I don't understand. No, read it, try to understand. And then use some tools, technology, to help you understand. Okay? All right. Again, I have to go because my voice is tired. But I will be back tomorrow as long as my voice is okay. I feel like I might be getting sick, so there's a possibility I might not be here tomorrow, but maybe I will if I feel like I'm good. Okay? Cassie, I have to go. I have to go. But come back and see me again sometime, okay? All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for following. Thank you for participating. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. And I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. Okay? If not tomorrow, definitely Monday. All right? I am here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and sometimes Saturday. Okay? I have been on Hello Talk for 12 years. I have been on Hello Talk for 12 years. I have about 83,000 followers. All right? And I am a teacher, a real teacher. It's my job. Okay? All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.